From KCRW and KCRW.com, I'm Bob Carlson, and this is Unfictional. Unfictional is KCRW's program of stories and original documentaries, and today on the program, 2 stories about breakdowns in the sense of hearing. As someone who makes his living making radio, I'm acutely aware of my hearing and the sounds around me. I navigate with sound. My moods are affected by sound. I even listen to television as much as I watch it, and that's why the idea of losing my hearing is serious business. For the last 20 years or so, people with hearing loss have been able to restore some of it with an electronic device called a Cochlear Implant. The solution is by no means perfect, and many people in the deaf community find them unnecessary or unsettling. Amanda McDonough is a 22-year-old graduate of Cal Poly Pomona. All her life she's had hearing problems. She wore hearing aids and hid the fact from everyone she knew, and mostly she got by. But then, last year, everything changed. Independent radio producer Brian Calvert spent some time with Amanda and her family and produced this story. On KCRW and KCRW.com, it's unfictional, and the rest is silence.
December of 2011. My goal was to get back in shape and actively pursue my acting career when I met a boy. That's not how all these stories start. He got sick. Nothing big, nothing exciting, just a normal sore throat and a cough. I don't have a very great immune system, so I ended up pretty sick. My doctor recommended that once I get a little better, I have my tonsils removed. So I did. And it was at this time when I started to notice that I couldn't really hear.
My name is Joe McDonough, and I'm Amanda's father. Amanda was in many, many musicals as she was growing up in high school, and so she always tended to get one of the main parts in the musicals. I knew that she wore hearing aids and that she had some hearing impairment, but when your daughter's playing leads in musicals, how serious could it be, right?
I'm Julie McDonough, and I am Amanda's mother. I picked up the phone, I dialed her as I always do, and she says, "Mom, I know you're there on the phone, but I can't hear you. Will you text me?"
Well, there was a falling out with the boyfriend at the time. He got sick. I took care of him. And then while I was sick, he went on a short vacation in San Francisco with a couple of his friends. And the day after he came back, he comes up to me and tells me that he cheated on me in San Francisco. So one of the first lip-reading sentences I did was, "I cheated on you in San Francisco."
Becoming deaf was a journey all of us took with her, but a lot of us declined to acknowledge. That made it harder, I think, sometimes for Amanda.
She lost her ability to hear Julie first, but she could still hear the lower end of my voice. She lost her ability to hear my wife. Of course, she says I had lost that ability too, but...
When I became deaf, it was almost a relief. I spent my entire life being afraid of losing any more of my hearing. I spent my entire life praying every night, please don't let it get any worse, please don't let it get any worse. And when it was finally all gone, I was just kind of like, all right, now what do I do?
Hi, it's Jane.
Your 1 o'clock patient is in.
Thanks, Sally.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Okay. I'm Jane Gay, a clinical audiologist in the adult cochlear implant program at House Clinic in Los Angeles. She came in and she was very, very clear that she hadn't made up her mind if this was the direction she wanted to go in. She said, I'm just trying to accept that this has happened to me. Here we go. 10 to 20, 25% of implant users are able to enjoy music. You recognize that. That's from the Nutcracker. But unfortunately, not everybody. So now I'm going to play, this is just bare bones cochlear implant.
I could see it at first when she came out of that appointment and she hadn't made a final decision. And she was like crying one second and happy the other.
I was like, I'm going to get it. And I slammed my hands down on the table and I was like, I'm not going to think about it anymore. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm getting it and we're not talking about it anymore. And she's like, okay. So tomorrow I am scheduled for my cochlear implant surgery at 9 a.m. I have my last meeting with my surgeon, Dr. House.
Good morning.
How are you all?
We were joking the other day at lunch about how, like, you can watch ESPN before a game and find out if a player's knee is bothering them. You can try and tell whether or not they're going to play as well that day. I wish they did that with surgeons.
The surgery itself will take about an hour to an hour and a half. When you come out of surgery, you'll go to a recovery room for about an hour. In about 3 weeks, she'll receive her external processor.
Thanks so much, Dr. House.
You're very welcome. And I will see you all this afternoon.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I'm Dr. Lee, anesthesiologist.
Nice to meet you.
I'm the one main guy put you to sleep and wake you up. Your life in my hand now.
It smells like peppermint.
Okay, good night. Bye.
The sound will come in just like it normally does. It hits the eardrum and goes through the little ear bones. It vibrates the fluid, but there's no little sensors there to sense the vibration. So what happens is the sound doesn't get transmitted onto the brain. So what's internal is the receiver and the electrodes. The external processor is where the computer is that takes sound, processes the sound, converts the sound to an electrical message, causes the electrodes then to stimulate the hearing nerve itself.
Coming out of the anesthesia was not fun. A couple of days I had a little bit of difficulty with the recovery. It was really dizzy. There was pain. It's 2 days before the outer piece of my cochlear implant gets put on. And I am really nervous. I've started becoming frustrated. Been trying to communicate with my own family members, and I started kind of isolating myself a little more than usual. Yesterday, my uncle came over, my aunt was here, my grandmother, my parents, my brother. Everyone's sitting around our kitchen table. They're talking and having a grand old time, and I couldn't keep up. I couldn't figure out who was talking when. I got so frustrated, my eyes started to water, and I just walked out of the house and went for a walk because I couldn't. Because in my life, I'm alone in this, and I know they try, I really, really do, but they'll never understand what it's like to be me. To live in a world that is completely silent all the time, and where you feel utterly and completely alone.
Okay, I'm going to turn this on. It's going to give you a little bit of a jolt in the beginning.
A jolt?
You'll see. It'll take just a couple seconds before it kicks on.
I feel this weird kind of like vibration.
Amanda, can you hear my voice?
Wow, that sounds...
Do you hear my voice? Does it sound weird?
It sounds like a robot.
A robot, that's okay. Do you hear words?
Not really.
Is my voice far, far away, or is it right here in the room?
Oh my God, it just changed.
Okay. Is my voice right here in the room, or is it far, far away?
It's a little far away, but I can hear words now.
Okay. It's going to get better and better. I just made my voice come in a little bit closer. Is that a little better?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. And you're understanding me.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Here.
Sorry.
That's okay. Everybody cries. Even I do. I mean, this is amazing, isn't it?
Wow. I haven't heard somebody say a word in so long.
I know. Come here. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Got it? Yes, I can hear the phone ring now, which is exciting. I got bubble wrap the other day. I was putting my diploma in its frame, and the frame's covered in bubble wrap. So I take the bubble wrap off, and I accidentally popped one. It was like, oh my gosh, what is that? So then, of course, I have to lay down on the floor and, start pounding them out. My mom thought I was a little crazy. She's sitting here watching TV, and I'm sitting on the floor of the living room, 22 years old, popping bubble wrap like a 5-year-old child with my eyes wide and all excited. So that's what it's been like. Every day I get a new sound, and then I have to learn it and memorize it and understand it. Music is actually starting to sound a little better. When it comes to, music I know, from the past, music I'm really familiar with, it starts sounding a little more like music. I'm deaf. I'm always going to be deaf. The second this thing comes off, the second it runs out of batteries, I hear nothing. Nothing at all, complete silence. And sometimes I really like that. Sounds can be overwhelming. People talking can get annoying. Sometimes I just like to take it off just because, you know what, I could use some silence for a few minutes.